Hello friends, and welcome back to this next video in the Responsibility Leadership series. Now, I hope you've had some opportunity to review the other videos of this series and take some learnings out of those. If not, spend some time to take a look at videos like who's a responsible leader, problem solving should be your second nature, is your leadership style working for you, etc. And this last one that I mentioned was actually a 3-part video. So do take a look at some of these videos so that you can get several good inputs. Today, I wanted to spend some time talking to you about the value of learning and being an expert. And again, like any other video that I'm producing in the Responsibility Leadership series, do not mistake the word leader to be one of being a leader within your organization or your business. This is about being a leader, a responsible leader in all walks of your life. Your social relationships as much as your commercial and economic relationships that you otherwise have, and even in your personal space. Now, ask yourselves a very, very simple question. In today's life, in modern life, are there enough and more areas where you need to make several significant decisions? The answer will be yes. From your child's education to supporting your spouse, to investments, to buying a house, to which city to move to or not, to then professional decisions of who to hire, what to do with your teams, and a number of other business decisions that you need to make if you're a business person. There's enough and more of a space for you to take decisions. This is where a whole lot of things that I've been talking about in the Responsibility Leadership series really come in handy for you as standards and benchmarks. And in this particular video, as I'm talking about the element of learning and the element of becoming an expert, is really because if you have not taken the time to become an expert in those areas of life which are important to you, your decision making is going to suffer. Gone are the days where our capabilities, our skill sets could be like, a horizontal line and sort of those quote unquote the generalist title that a lot of us would tend to achieve or take or be given. A lot of us need to have 2 or 3 or 4 vertical depths going down. These are the additional core areas where we are an expert, not just generalists, where we have deep down expertise. Some of these verticals that you need to have are really in the area of our personal understanding of how education system works or how finance, personal finance, taxation, etc. works. Other areas are to do with how relationships work or how is it that you need to manage your social media image, and then definitely the work aspect of things. Your own core area, working with others, collaborating, influencing. Tons of these require deep expertise for you to really progress well in a stress-free way. If you are not an expert, here are some symptoms that will happen or some challenges that will come in front of you. You will either be making suboptimal decisions, or you will be wasting time, or you will waste resources. You could also be facing criticism and ridicule from people around you, where they could be using some of your challenges to really push you back. You could also experience the resistance hence from people around you, whether it is personal life or it is professional life. All of this can bring us under immense amount of stress. And how do we react? When we get into stress, we want to take control, we want to blame others, we want to blame the situation. And sometimes this also leads us into those places where anger, guilt, fear, these become our prominent responses to the world around. As a result, what happens? Our relationships suffer. We don't have a lot of healthy relationships when we get stuck in this kind of a space. And most likely, then we end up using manipulative and deceptive ways to get by. So all of these things are really adding up to our challenges even more. So you see, the things that we do to cope with such challenges also further enhance our problems. And what is the root cause of all of this? That we are not learning, we are not an expert in our space. Now the solution really is real learning and education to acquire the expertise. The first is absolutely education through mastering the content. It could be a formal course, a series of books, magazines, podcasts, videos on YouTube, wherever you find an authority to learn from. Master the content. Mastering the content gives you the understanding an idea of frameworks of a particular subject, how to do things, what to understand, your cognitive models become clear, your decision making becomes clear. The mastering of the content can be sort of simultaneously be accompanied by or followed by you learning to work through various contexts. And this could be the various situations that you work with, and the various kind of applications that you need to do. So let's say, for example, you acquire an understanding of personal finance. The various contexts could be saving, spending, planning for vacations, investment of a house, all of these things. It could also be optimizing your taxes. So all of these are different contexts. You learn influencing. You can learn influencing of close and loved dear and near ones. You could also learn how to influence people who are senior to you, people who have different point of views. You could also learn social media influencing, but at the core was again influencing. So you learn influencing or any of the other skills as the main content, as the core subject, then you apply it to various contexts and master those. And that mastery in itself will bring you the mastery of various situations where you could flourish. These could be crisis situations, these could be just the general situations, these could be happy occasions that you have to manage, or it could also be those occasions where you have to put yourself out there, advertise, talk on social media, etc. But remember, all of this mastery takes time and patience. It takes time to learn a subject. It takes time to look at various contexts. It takes time to master various situations. And that's why you need to be patient with learning and moving and becoming an expert. You will discover certain things which nobody will be able to tell you. You will only discover them when you face those problems in the real life. So never get disheartened. If you really ask me, in any area, you would become an expert in about 6 to 18 months. And I'm talking about the big subject matters. You're talking about influencing, or let's say digital marketing, or working with data sciences, programming, or hard skills like understanding financial statements or managing investments. Every 6-month block is a very important time period for us if you put in the right amount of work, with the right intent, with the right experts. The first 6 months is like drawing up a foundation, and if we keep learning well and practicing well, the next 6 months we will acquire the requisite skills, and slowly in about 6 months, which is getting towards the 12 to 18 month mark, is when we have a decent level of expertise with what we do. So stay patient with all of that, right? So those 4 steps that I shared: first, start with education through mastering the content, then learning through working with various contexts, then mastering the variety of situations. And remember, all of these things take time and patience. So invest this time, become an expert, do certain things so that you will get ahead of the game. And in this journey, you have some very simple saviors. One of the biggest savior for you will be listening to others with an intent to learn. Just like you are working with, sometimes even struggling with things, there are several others who are like that, in that same space, trying to learn, trying to understand, struggling with things, etc. Listen to them, discuss with people who have similar interests, similar struggles. Highly likely you will learn a lot. Yes, in this, only one caution, that sometimes you may hear negative messages. Leave that, filter that out. Take your learnings of both sides of the coin, but focus on positives, accelerating your learning. And once you've heard people talk, then also take the time to discuss various views and approaches. Be inclusive. Like they say, there is diversity in point of views. Take all of that together and discuss and learn from that. Similarly, make decisions based on the merit and probability of success. Increase your probability of success with every decision that you make. And as you move forward to master various contexts, test for the points of failure, so that whatever idea you are carrying in your mind, it is realistic, it has been validated, it is reliable in that sense of things that when you apply it, it is going to give you results. And that is when you will get the opportunity to improve your approach, improve the design of what you're doing, improve the systematic way in which you are approaching things. All of these are pretty important. And as you go through some of these journeys, you'll understand when I say your approach is different from how you're designing a whole solution or designing your whole methodology of doing things, and how systematically and sequentially you go through with this thing, or are there parallel things that you're doing. All of these things you need to master. When you go through this journey with time and patience is when you will internalize the learnings. And once you've internalized the subject, sort of start again. Go back, look at the beginning. Where did you start from? What else do you need to do? And my invitation again, those 6-month blocks that I spoke about, every 6 months is a very critical period of your life. So look at what are some 2-3 new things that you're acquiring. If you ask me, you can take 2 or at most 3 things new and learn them in parallel, so that in 6 months you will be a very different person. 12 months, for sure, you will be highly evolved in your approach if you learn well. If you really want to reinvent yourself, your personality, your thinking, all it takes is a 12 to 18 month period of learning 2 or 3 big different things in your life and enhancing and applying those to become better. My best wishes to you in your journey of doing well and becoming a responsible leader with all aspects of your life. Like I said, review some of the other videos that I have put out there, and make sure that you come back and take a look at this video so that you can master some of this content and put it back to your work. So wish you the very best. Become an expert at least in 3 to 4 areas. 18 months is all that takes to really evolve, and doesn't matter what age, what background you come from. 12 to 18 months of good, patient, hard work, and you can be very different. Thank you for listening to me today. Talk to you soon.